And so, for the third time in this video series, it is time to look behind and ahead as we transition from 2021 to 2022. For 3 years now, I have had the same 5 main goals. Number 1, get my weight under 200 pounds just once. Any one day of the year that I step on the scale, I just want to see 199.8 or lower. Number 2, get my body fat below 10%. Number 3, go through my list of exercises that I use to track progress and set a new personal record or personal best in every single one of them. Number 4, get the bench press, the deadlift, and the squat into the 315 club. That's 315 pounds. And number 5, perform 1 pull-up. And for the 3rd year in a row, to answer the question, did I achieve any or all of those goals? The answer is no, not a single one. In going through the list of the other goals that I have just for fun and motivation, I did not get 12 guests on video. In fact, I think I only got 1. I was going to have 2. I was going to have Joseph Earl actually, I was going to publish his episode in 2021, and then I uploaded it. I realized I got his name wrong, so I took it down. I tried to load another one, I think on December 30th, and there were still errors with it, so I got it all corrected and ready to go. But the computer was still processing the files when we left the house to go to our New Year's Eve party. And so Joseph is now technically a 2022 guest, and he'll count toward that goal. But yeah, I did not get 12 guests on. I did not attend a powerlifting competition, in large part because there ended up not being one in this area in October like originally planned. So I guess my first one doesn't have to be local, but I'd like it to be. There is a particular gym, I've mentioned them before, Strength Warehouse, and they host them now and then. I'd like my first one to be local and among people I know, if I can. If I have to wait too long for that, then I'll go ahead and find one that's further out of town somewhere else in the state of Oregon and dive in. But anyway, that's my personal preference, and we'll see if that happens this year. But that's my other list of goals. We're covering 2021 now. Of course, I made progress on the 50 push-ups in 50 states one. That deadline is not for 2 3/4 more years. That's based on my birthday, and so I have 2 full years from this coming September to finish that one. But I got, 14 more states, and if you waded through the full hour, all 3 episodes of that, congratulations. And then I did finish the 2021 push-ups offered to me by Harry. Off the top of my head, I don't have the date. I don't even know if I told you about that before. It was kind of a weird year for videos. I didn't even publish that many in 2021. I didn't get that many loaded, finished, copyrighted, loaded to YouTube, anything like that. But anyway, there's the year. It was kind of it was not a useless year. We already know, I already talked about it a few episodes ago. My weight actually went up a little bit from January to December, from the first day to the last. I did not achieve anything great or new with the deadlift, bench press, or squat. I just kind of treaded water. Is that the analogy I want? Which is better than sinking. I don't want to pat myself on the back too hard. There are people, anytime I'm kind of down on myself, somebody will come along, Instagram, Facebook, comment section on YouTube, somebody will come along and say, Brian, don't be so hard on yourself. You're doing great. I don't just sit around and kick myself. I don't just sit around and mope. So if anybody gets that impression, I apologize. But I also do believe in being really realistic, and I don't think great is the word that applies to any part of 2021. I don't think that. I think that would be giving myself credit where it's not due. Yeah, I mean, we can put it in any perspective you want. I did more than many Americans, in part because I flat out ignored our governor's COVID restrictions, like my gym did. But yeah, it was not a banner year. It's not a year I'm going to remember as anything. There are no highlights. There's no, I did this. Okay, I think I've made that point. I almost finished and published this video without including what is probably the biggest news of 2021. I said all the way back in episode 1 that if even one man out there discovered this video series and it motivated him to get in shape, then it would be a success story. And I have that person. His name is Gabriel Ortiz. He lives out in Massachusetts, I think. And back in March or April of 2021, he discovered this video series, started watching, and he became motivated. And over the course of about 3/4 of a year, he lost 50 pounds, and he's lost even more since then. He sent me some before and after pictures. He asked that I not share them. That's fine, but the difference is visible. It's awesome. He's still on it. He's got more to do. So do I. But there it is. Somebody out there has made a massive improvement in his life because of this video series. So that's motivation to keep going. That means I got to hit the gym. Let's do the usual and just do a quick look back at the year, set to some groovy or energetic music, whatever I pick whenever I do it. Anyway, yeah, here's 2021, the short version. And now we look forward at 2022, and I have the same 5 main goals. And somebody's going to say, in fact, people have already started to say, Brian, drop the weight goal. If you're trying to gain strength, you're going to gain weight and stuff like that. And I know, I hear you. I'm not ignoring you. I think I want to try once more. I want to burn off the fat and slim down so that I see something below 200 pounds on the scale. If at the end of this year I go in for a body fat evaluation, which I haven't had for a couple years because I just haven't had the time or the budget, but if I go in for a body fat evaluation at the end of this year, and the reason I did not get below 200 pounds is because my muscle mass increased that much, I won't argue, but I still want to hit 200 pounds just once, just one day, in 2022. And at this point, I have 270 days to do that. You've heard all of those goals before. This is now the 4th time you've seen that list. I'm not going to belabor it. We'll discuss it at the end if or when I achieve any or all 5 of them. Let's look quickly then at the list of things that I want to achieve in 2022. I want to try to get 12 guests on again. I really want to try. I have some ideas. Harry has once again offered the push-up challenge, so now it's 2,022 push-ups. And, of course, I want to keep going on 50 push-ups in 50 states. That might be a little harder this year. Income is lower, and I don't expect as big a tax refund to spend on something that frivolous. It's entirely possible I won't be able to add anything new. Possibly California. That's just a 3.5-hour drive south, cross over the border, get those push-ups done, call it a day. That's the cheap way of doing it. You know, if you watched my push-ups through the South, Ohio was almost cheating. But if that's the way I have to do it, that's the way I have to do it. California, there are so many options for California. I'd love to have the time and money to go all the way down to San Diego and meet a couple of people I follow on Instagram and maybe even get them on the channel. And while I'm there, do a bunch of push-ups. I don't know. Anyway, okay. But that's not a goal that needs to be finished in 2022. That's just a goal it would help if I could make progress on it. I do want to enter a powerlifting competition, if all goes well. I say that one of the problems with 2022 is there are so many things between me and other family members that we want to do. I just don't know. I mean, powerlifting, you have to, there's equipment you need to buy, and then there's registration fees too. So, I mean, if I were to do everything on my list this year, I'm going to have to have a relative die and surprise me with a $50,000 inheritance. Or, I don't know, if anybody watching this has, several $1,000 they want to just throw at me and say, here, go achieve one of your goals. I won't argue. I'll ask you if you're sure first. And if you say you're sure, then I'll take your money. All right. And then, now, here's the big one for me. I think this is the one that's going to take up the rest of the episode, which I hope I can record before all the kids get back home. My biggest dream in life, bigger even than creating the perfect body, bigger than anything I can think of, my biggest dream is to create a feature-length motion picture, a movie. That's what I've wanted to do since I was about 13 or 14. And I recently, within the past 4 years, decided that I have spent enough time not doing that and I need to focus on it. I always thought it would be a work of fiction, that it would be a scripted film. It would be some kind of, I don't know, a mystery or an adventure of some kind. But a few years ago, on a fitness forum, it was actually on a pro steroids platform that I actually got invited to join because the owner knew me. And even though I don't use steroids, he thought I would be, welcome company there. And I seemed to get along with everyone, even though they were throwing around terms about steroid products. I had no idea. And it has since shut down because the owner got raided by the FBI. But somebody there, big guy, I mean, just juiced up to the max, saw my tutorial with Mac Kiai Okekai Kiale. I still remember his name. And this big guy, this guy that, I mean, I figured he'd be the one to be teaching me things about working out. If either one of us was going to impress the other one, it'd be him impressing me. He watched that and he posted in the forum, if the health films that I had to watch in high school were as entertaining as that, I would have remembered them a lot better. Without going into all the details, that was kind of the first spark that led to the idea that I now have for my first feature film, which is a feature length, 90 minutes to 2 hours. Documentary is not the right word because I'm not just documenting, but it would actually be a training manual on film designed to provide a beginner course. You've got some guy, he knows nothing. He's like I was when I was in high school or even early college, knows nothing about workouts and proper nutrition. Maybe he's a total couch potato, but he decides one day that he wants to get in shape. He's tired of being fat. This is kind of my story. Tired of being fat, but he doesn't know where to begin. I want to create a movie that will educate him on how to get off the couch and get started toward better fitness. Of course, a 2-hour movie can only tell so much, but I want it to be a compact little tutorial that will give him everything he needs to at least start making improvements. In 2 hours, I think I could give him enough information to actually make those improvements, so that if he followed only the knowledge that he gained from this film, in half a year, his friends would be saying, "You're looking good." So that has kind of grown on me. I've actually lobbed that idea out into the public sphere and have gotten some very positive feedback on the idea. What I don't have right now really is any money to do it. The tentative title right now is the Better Body Starter Kit for Men. That may change, but that's the idea that crossed my mind at this point. And my purpose in bringing that all up is because one of my motivational goals is, it's 2022. I want to see if I can get at least, as a minimum, 20 minutes and 22 seconds of rough cut of the film done by the end of 2022. Those are my goals for 2022. Of course, you're watching this 4 months into 2022, 3.5 months. Yeah, so there it is. I think the most exciting part for me is the movie. I am going to throw a fundraising pitch your way. You are, of course, free to completely ignore it when I do publish it. You're my fans and friends. I do not expect money from anyone, but I'll get into all that later. Okay, 2022 is underway, and I will get you caught up on that as soon as I can, and as soon as I've got footage and information that I feel is worth putting into a 20-minute package for you. Having said that, that is the end of Behind and Ahead, Volume 3. I'll see you next time for whatever the topic is on A Body in Progress. In searching for a vintage workout advertisement to create this mock-up of a movie poster for the Better Body Starter Kit for Men, I came across this little gem. It's called Rhythmic Exercises. It's from 1950, and it is 11 minutes long. 11 minutes of pretty much just what you're looking at here. There are a few different angles, and there's a narrator describing what you're supposed to do with these exercises, but I figured since I edited the main video down to 17.5 minutes after getting rid of things that I thought were just me talking excessively on subjects you didn't really need to know, that I would go ahead and show you some of this. When the moment I saw this, I was instantly reminded once again of the comment that the bodybuilder made on the forum, where he said if the health films that he watched in school were as memorable as the way I taught things, he would have remembered things more. I don't go back to 1950, but I do remember sitting in 7th and 8th grade health class and having them talk about the human body and it just all the functions and how it works. And even in 1980, it'd be about 1984, 1985, they were just half an hour of cringing dialogue, bad acting. Yeah. So when I saw this, I thought, okay, that's how I'm going to fill up the end of my episode. Let's all just take a look at a very old exercise plan here. This is toward the second half of the film. They actually slow it down and instruct you. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and jump, and yep, and then the slow motion version. Oh my goodness. I'd play the whole thing for you with audio, but I fear that would really be trampling on copyright. So we'll just leave it at that. That is what I do not want the Better Body Starter Kit for Men to be. I want it to be fun and entertaining, and I will tell you more about that when I create a video all about the project and what I want to do. All right, we are now finally at the 20-minute mark. See you next time.